I'm just waking up, getting ready to get at it. It's not really rest rising. It's still late, but had a what I would consider an interesting dream last night. I got a different, I guess, I got a different message from the dream though. Um, kind of, I would say, a revelation from the dream. A lot of the way I am, sometimes I've been asking for it to be taken away. And I guess from a dream, it's kind of more of a direction to say not take it away, but more focused and to have more clarity or to basically a better perspective of what's going on. In the dream, it was not really a PG dream. I guess I was at somewhere where a whole bunch of males that I knew and other, just random guys were at. And somehow I had came out of a bathroom or somewhere or something. And then I came out and then walked towards a line. It was a long line of men. And I didn't know what it was about. And I asked and found out that they were waiting to get serviced by a female, have something done to them. And, you know, my mind started asking questions. And that's the way I am now. I ask questions. But in my youth, I probably would have been in a line like that. See, my mind went all everywhere. It's like, okay, who's going to do this? How many doing it? Are they cooperative towards that? And then why are all these men cooperative to do this? Why do they, want this so bad, that they're lined up and willing to go after another person doing something like that? And of course, the male mind is very perverse at a young age. I was there. That was my mind as well. And so, upon having daughter, my first child was a daughter, my mind started to, just like broaden and open up. I wanted to be a great father and stuff, and that did not happen. The challenges and stuff like that. Definitely didn't want to be like my father, and so I asked Yah or God at the time, to help me out. Now, looking further and stuff, just looking at the way I'm made up compared to the way I was back then, where the inclinations of my body would basically have more control. I was basically one that looked for sex, for love, and things of that nature. I identified that as love because the other things that I had for love, I was getting whooped a lot. That was love. Supposed to be love. Um, I felt rejected and abused, or I got bullied a lot. So all those that I looked for love from, hurt me. And so that way of love, sex is love, was not hurtful. And so it was not really love either, but I exploited that thing. But immaturity. But now, I ask questions. And so the asking questions just is never ending sometimes. And it can be so tiresome. It can wear me out. But it's my makeup now. I almost feel as if, Yah has purposed it for me, but I need a greater comprehension of the gift as well as functioning. I need to know how to apply it better and have the proper perspective. So even when I see things that are not the way that they should be, or even if I feel like something is coming at me wrong, my response is different. You know, and so I really got from the message or from the dream that Yah was telling me, stop asking for it to be taken away because it serves a purpose, but that I basically asked to be able to handle it better, to have the proper perspective, to be able to use it better, to not have it wear me out or have me on this island by myself, which I'm probably still going to be on the island, but being able to endure and enjoy or just realize that it's purposeful and not be grieved so often by it. I definitely I deal with a lot of hurt and stuff like that, but I got joy in my life. And so it's like, why do I keep reframing back to the hurts or repeating those things? And I'm almost in my like the 40 year in the desert type situation. And I don't want to be in a desert dealing with some of the same things. What I dealt with Family Worship Center, I end up dealing with Great Awakening basically. And yet did warn and tell Great Awakening, hey, I don't want to go through this. Shared it. And yet it happened. It happened. And so, it's like, okay, they're culpable for some things, but I'm like, I'm culpable myself and have to take responsibility because I know how things happen and I did not keep my guard up. And the moment I took my guard up, down, basically, they may not intentionally lied or whatever, but that's what happened. And I don't know, sometimes the way things are made up nowadays, not everything that's a lie is a lie in this way. Somebody could say, oh, I'm going to call you back. And that just means I'm getting off the phone nowadays. It doesn't mean I'm going to actually call you back. And I take things literally. And so when someone tells me something, I take their word to be their bond until they show me different. And a lot of times I need to, I guess, ask them clearly, is this what you're saying? Or not take it. So, you know, I constantly have people telling me, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back. Or they'll call me and say, oh, I gotta tell you something important. But then they get another line in and they never tell me. You called me and told me you had something important. So then later on, they wonder, they end up talking to me. They're like, well, why ain't you called me? I'm like, well, you said you had something important. You got off the phone with me and I was waiting for you to call me back. Well, you should have called me. And I'm like, but you're the one with the important information to share with me. Why should I press you? And I don't want to be the one pressing you for what you wanted to share. And majority of the time when they do that, they never even ever share what they were wanting to share, supposedly, so importantly. And so I just take it as they had someone else that they really wanted to share with, and I was the only one that answered the phone. And then that other person called them back at the time, and so they went to the person they wanted to speak to. And so I view it as I'm a secondary option. And maybe I'm looking at it wrong. You know, I'm such a gift or whatever. I guess I keep giving. And I'm like, okay, one of the things I can't look for the people to replenish. I have to look for Yah to. And I know that. But it's still hard and difficult when a person constantly comes and wants and wants and wants and wants. And it's like, you know, I don't need accolades, but then it's like, okay, something in me says they should recognize that they're constantly coming and getting and that I'm the person that they're getting from. I see that they give recognition to everybody else. Where's the recognition that they got from me? And I'm like, Shankwilla, something's wrong with you where you're desiring or needing this recognition. But I'm like, the truth is the truth. I'm like, I can't lie to myself. I don't feel comfortable when someone else tells me a lie. So I'm like, Shankwilla, what's going on? You can't lie to yourself. You did something there. And to not acknowledge it is lying to yourself. And I'm like, I'm basically battling with myself. It's like, okay, I don't need the accolade, but then I don't want to lie to myself either. And I'm like, okay, this is not a healthy way to be. And it's taxing. And so it's like, man, sometimes I just be wanting to just shut down and don't be a giver, don't do nothing. And I'm like, but I can't, he won't allow me. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I got to look at it differently. I got to work at a different perspective. I definitely do. I do. I know that dream basically was showing me something though. It showed me that I have matured in some ways. Some of the things that I would do out of my natural and carnal way, I won't do. And I actually ask the questions and see it as a violation. That whatever daughter was in that situation servicing these people or whatever, that's no. I would want to, protect her and save her from that situation. But nowadays, would she even want to be saved? And it's like, man, the dilemma, wanting to do right and being caught and viewed as doing something wrong. You're taking away everybody's fun. You're doing, I'm like, wow. Because that's what a person has stopped something like that, especially if the female didn't ask for it or whatever. But then nowadays in this generation, the person could be drugged or whatever. It would be more so viewed as a gang rape or something like that. A sex crime or whatever. But they were a willing participant mostly. But I'm like, I'm confused. My mind is going everywhere with this thing. It's like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, help me see it right. I want to be able to deal with things properly the way you would. Because there is always a human view of how a situation is. And men differ. Sometimes we say, well, that's the right thing that's happening, if that's what they want to do. But that don't make it right. That don't make it right. I you know, my little nickname was Time to Get It Right. I want to get things right. I think it's time to get it right. I don't want to keep focusing on me, but I am me. So I who best to deal with me than Yah and me? And I still want to be the helper, but I would rather help people that desire to be helped. Those that are not users. I would rather be able to be more spread out, not constantly by the same people, but hey, I don't want my heart hardened. I want to be able to be vulnerable, but I also don't want to be a doormat. I don't want to be bullied anymore, but I don't always want to take up the mantle of fighting bullies either. And see, that's something that's almost on auto response. My body, my mind is like when I see somebody, it's like protect, so I protect myself, I protect others. I defend people. I see somebody attacking a friend of mine or something like that, Facebook, whatever. I jump in, and that in itself is not always what they want, you know. I don't know. Well, I got to get in here and do this 12 hours, so I'm tired mentally, and I'm a little sleepy still. I tried to sleep. Yesterday I was trying to be out of it, laying in the bed, watch me some Darby and stuff, and just, yeah. But blessings and shalom. Blessings and shalom.